Okay, we have introduced the basic terms in the syllabus. So, in fact, if you have understood that, to a large extent, the job is done when it comes to the upcoming classes. Let's say if you are being asked, like, can you justify, is there any logical justification for inequality? See, normally we will say no. We have points for that. We'll say that on the basis of birth, inequality cannot exist. Definitely. Means there will be differences in the intellectual and physical traits of human beings, but that shall not manifest in the level of what we call as distributive justice. Justice means no person shall be deprived on the basis of birth. That's fine. That's a point. Even from the perspective of a socialist, right? We are yet to discuss this. Say inequality can never be justified. Economic terms means everything has to be. They are totally against the idea of competition. They believe in cooperation. Competition breeds inequality. Rich gets richer, poor gets more poorer. Marxian idea. See, I'm just saying. I'm not prepared. I'm just saying. Right? The questions will be of this nature. Many of them. But the 2 points that I told, they are within the syllabus. Syllabus means within the framework of what we discussed in the last two classes. Even a positive liberal would say liberty and equality, or what we call as equity. Equality shall exist only among equals. Even in a market system, state shall intervene, make rational interventions so that there shall be level playing field. There is no justification. See, but on the other side, we can say that mm, that may be counterintuitive in the beginning, right? It's like inequality. Inequality means market system is fair. Market system means open competition is fair, according to the negative liberals or whom we call as libertarians in the contemporary context. Okay, right? So competition. Because of competition, the natural outcome is inequality. Somebody will come first, somebody will come last. That's it. They are not permanent. It can change. How? Based on one's own talent or hard work, one can change. If the state intervenes, the state intervenes in so as to ensure fair competition, or even if it regulates the market, going beyond, going beyond its scope of being a night watchman or providing security. That's not fair. Inequality is a natural outcome of competition. Since in a competition, inequality is the logical possibility, people will try to, compete and come ahead. It's betterment for them. And maybe as a byproduct, the society also may improve. When there is competition, you see, when there is competition between companies, if somebody has overpriced something, when competition is there, people will underprice and provide, better quality of the goods that they are producing. What is the issue with that? That's a product of competition. They are, they may be focusing on what you call as economies of scale. Economies of scale means on a large scale, you are producing something, you are not overburdening the customers, or you are in a position not to overburden the customers. You are innovating, good technology. Maybe they will be getting 1 rupee profit on something, but they are able to sell to 50 crore people. They are all innovations, right? Competition means this is how, the companies adapt. Okay, come back. So it is justified. Inequality means it's a product of competition. It's justified. And even, there was an economist who got Nobel many years back. Name is Simon Kuznets. There is something known as Kuznets curve. I will tell only one sentence. He, Economics was never my optional. I'm taking, anticipatory bail, but that idea I like actually. Means it's like in a long scale, you got the Nobel for that only. Capitalism or free market economy on a large scale, initially there will be inequality. But since there is freedom, since there is liberty, since individuals have, the capacity, nobody is going to restrict them, they will also, grow up. And this inequality will get reduced in long duration. Initially, when something new is coming, when some new technology is coming, let's say during the time of industrial revolution, the people who had machines, immediately they will get rich. Nothing can be done about it. But because of that, because of the competition among the factories, company owners, there will be more wages, high possibilities that they will try to retain the laborers. And there will be what we call as the trickle down effect. Trickle down effect means, you see, when we are jobless, even, when you want to order some food, hotel में जाके नहीं खाएंगे, that's natural thing. But when we get a job, a bit secured, economically bit secured, so we will spend. We will think like, chalo, we will travel in auto, right? Or let's go to some better hotel. Tendency will be there. So what happens is like when people are ready to spend, it creates economic opportunities for some. Since he is not spending, Baki, let's say the auto driver is not getting something or the hotel owner is not getting something. This is actually trickle down. So in a long term means because of competition, this also can be bridged. Getting right? Negative liberal means competition is justified, scope for innovation, scope for better for the consumers. It's within the purview of human dignity only. Nobody is restricting you on the basis of your birth. Market system is just. So come back. If you are being asked a question, how will there are many dimensions which we can add later. But if you get these are the genre or some kind of questions which you are going to get in this paper. How far will you justify inequality? Free flow, natural thought. You will say that on the basis of birth, I will not justify. Or from socialist perspective, it cannot be justified, and why? It's about cooperation and competition, and even they will say, inequality in capitalist system, the proletariats or the working class are being, dominated by the property owning class. One extended justification also comes. See, you are giving three or four perspectives and just who is telling that and the justification. On the other side, I will say that inequality can be justified because we'll cite some of the positives of the market system, or even I say the cite the Kuznets curve. This is the essence of what you have been discussing. Right? So, when we are to compare briefly the positive and negative liberal view, similarity is that we need to understand they are never socialists. They never advocate, positive liberals never advocate for collective ownership of means of production or the land, the factories, machines and all. Never they will say. Private ownership, nothing wrong with that. It is just, and when it comes to competition, market economy, what will a positive liberal say? Yes, it is fair. Market is fair. There is no doubt. Fine. But where the difference comes? Native liberal, when he understands it's at absence of restraint completely, it gives no scope for the state to intervene into the market. Role of state is restricted to being a night watchman, ensure security only. On the other side, instead of absence of restraint, the absence of restraint can come only when you can convert that, what is being given, that liberty given on paper to, substantive outcome. Make use of the opportunities, grab the opportunities in a substantive way. So in order to ensure that, we need to some kind of intervention to make use of the freedom to the fullest possible extent, just like I gave the example of, creating a playground in an isolated geographical area. Taxation, yeah, maybe negative liberal will be saying that, yeah, taxation to that amount to ensure the security, to ensure the liberty. Other means a bit, a bit ahead to ensure some kind of there is scope for social security and all. And invariably, any kind of liberal idea of liberal societies, they will uphold the political rights, civil rights. Political rights means, let's say, right to contest in elections, right to form parties, right to form the NGOs, civil society, being part of civil society, freedom of speech and expression, maybe right to religion, all these things actually, that's fine. That is freedom. When you say right, mean that is freedom of all these things. State will not intervene into it. You are free. You see practically what happens in the so-called socialist nations, whether it was the erstwhile USSR or the China, individual rights or the freedom of speech and expression, right to liberty, freedom of speech and expression, they will be restricted. So when it comes to the positive or negative liberal, all these things are the, but here comes the difference that I have been discussing. And any kind of law, negative liberal will be understanding it as a kind of, restriction on liberty only. Restriction on liberty only. Even when a law is created to, let's say, ensure security, see, ideally, free market, a kind of anarchism, there is a domain of thought, anarcho-capitalism, we will see. See, ideally, if the market system can function on its own, there is that will be inherently just. But since there is a possibility that the people who may not succeed, or due to some reason people can create security threats, you need a necessary evil in the form of state. And even when there is a law in the larger interest is created to restrict the freedom of speech and expression or even taxation, generally their perception is law is a form of restriction, but it is a necessary evil, that's all. Law is a restriction on liberty anyhow. Logically also it says a law means, it prohibits certain set of action, it directs you to do certain set of action, but liberty means it shall be like you are the person who is going to decide. But on the other side, a positive liberal will be thinking, see, in the Indian context, it will be like that only, law and liberty. They are positive only actually. They are positively related. Law complements liberty. How? See, a law is created to, let's say, let's take the example. It's treated as a classical example of the traffic light. Traffic light means traffic signal. It seems like it represents a law. It seems like, like a kind of restriction. You are urgently going somewhere. It seems like a kind of restriction. You are moving at 100 kilometer per hour. Suddenly, the red light is coming. You need to reach somewhere in 5 minutes. You are unable to reach. There may be a natural tendency if the CCTV is not functioning. There may be a natural tendency to violate, the traffic sense tendency. I won't say will. There may be a tendency. That red light signifies the law. Liberty means you are traveling on the road. Why this restriction? One way or the other, it's a restriction only, there is no doubt. But a positive liberal, the thought will be like, if there is no restriction like that, if there is no restriction like that, man, look, you think uh, you are spending only, 1 minute in front of the red light. If there is no restriction, Many people, or at least three or four people are enough who violate that traffic law, and that will be total confusion. So it's better to avoid confusion. You wait for some time, very minimal time. It is systematized so that everyone can have some amount of liberty. Liberty that not intervenes into the domain. It is not harming the liberty of others. Right? There was a thinker, J.S. Mill, in his work on liberty, he says that it's a typical representative of liberty. Ideas. He says maximum freedom of speech and expression, maximum freedom of thought, maximum freedom on speech and expression, no restriction. Freedom of speech and expression means in a healthy debate, there shall be maximum freedom of speech and expression. No? In a healthy debate, we'll say that if matured people are debating, they know how to make use of the freedom. They won't end up, insulting the other people. They extend their views. They extend their rational thought. So maximum freedom of speech and expression. Good debate means what is the case? Suppose you have a viewpoint, you express that, you express your concerns. Another person is expressing his viewpoints. Perhaps our view is wrong, other person's view is right. We will accept that. It comes only through open, freedom of speech and expression. He says that had there been no freedom of speech and expression, the what you call as the scientific revolution or the age of enlightenment in Europe wouldn't have taken place. Maybe one person's view, just like he cites the example of Socrates, one person's view may be different from many others. Maybe they would have been condemned to death, but they become martyrs because their view still prevails, right? So, there cannot be restriction on these things. Complete liberty. At the same time, you see, uh, when you act, rather than speaking, when you act, the actions, let's say actions that affect ourselves only. There also he says complete freedom. Freedom means, it's a negative liberal idea only, maximum freedom without any restriction. In his earlier writing, he says, without any restriction, it shall be, their self, self regarding actions. Even, he justifies a person drinking alcohol and gambling within the purview of self-governing action. Because it's freedom, but just like the law of karma, na, he's free to choose, he's free to reap the fruits. That's all. Liberty should be defined like this, ना तो नहीं कि you are given freedom, मतलब उसको बोले कि तुम कुछ भी बोल सकते हो, कुछ भी कर सकते हो, and say that you are giving 3-4 directions. You can do anything. यही होता है ना when you say कि even at your home you can feel that maybe your parents will be saying you are given full freedom, and after that but आएगा but. So you should say J.S. Mill is saying that but नहीं बोला जाता है. Freedom means complete freedom, self regarding action. But there is something else, when you act, other regarding action. Others means baki, what influence can have on others. So here says that there shall be some kind of reasonable restriction. Maybe while studying polity, you might have seen a quotation or the harm principle. Quotation like my freedom ends on the tip of nose of the another person. That is, whatever actions that cannot have a negative impact on the other. Anyhow, complete freedom of speech and expression, you can act in the way as you want until it is not affecting others. If you are applying the same, in the social life, public life, it translates like maximum freedom of speech and expression. Even that also can hurt others. So, with a reasonable restriction. When it comes to the economy, it's like, maximum freedom so that it's not affecting others. So even though Mill is considered to be a negative liberal, in later times in his life, it's like he is suggested for the social security program of others who are to for just like a positive liberal. That only works practically. Negative liberalism is a kind of utopia. Completely वो possible नहीं है. So if you come back to the example of that the traffic light, अभी समझ में आ रहा है, you are free. In fact, everybody is acting in a matured way by considering that. See, even though there is no traffic light, at times you can see when दो गाड़ी अगर opposite से आ रही है, some people say like कि हम reverse नहीं लेंगे because of two reasons, either because of arrogance or because of the fact that they do not know how to drive properly. वो भी तो हो सकता है, but it will create traffic jam. So whatever may be, we cannot take a risk. We need to have reasonable restrictions on the freedom so that everybody can have some level of freedom. So that's the case in India. Positive liberal. You fix it in mind. Even if you get a question on question in prelims on political thoughts, the discussions that we are going through, na, that will help actually. क्योंकि एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल सोचो, लॉ क्रिएटेड बाय द स्टेट, judiciary saying it is not unconstitutional or void. Till that time, it is constitutional. It's not restriction. We say that it's meant for the empowerment of people. Thus, maybe you are getting a statement like, "What is the status of law and liberty in India?" I think similarly it has been asked 4 5 years back. So where will we fix? We are studying the political thoughts. So here means they go. Liberty means okay, negative, positive. It's there. How they are related, law and liberty. Somebody will treat it as absence of restraint. No, you be matured citizen. The traffic light is there, or laws are there because we can enjoy maximum liberty consistent with the liberty of others. Okay, so even in economic domain, the intervention for taxation and all, they are symbolized with these laws actually. Because state has a duty to ensure the maximum liberty of anyone in such a way that it is not affecting the liberty of others. The person who is living in an isolated area, if he cannot take part in a competition in a fair manner, he is not having the liberty. Simply by defining it as absence of restraint, it will not turn out into, it cannot be actualized. So the opportunity that is being presented in front of him, it will be merely on paper. So opportunity, if he needs to grab properly, you need a kind of push. Just like the law that has been created in the traffic light or this harm principle, all these things are applicable here. No? So this is a justification for positive liberty. Okay, fine. So when it comes to relation between liberty and equality, simply it's like positive liberals say or equity, what you call, they are reconcilable. There is no doubt. They can go on together. Inequality, okay, to some extent it can be justified. It cannot be justified beyond a limit. Beyond a limit. To some extent means competition, okay, may create divide that we will see in genre roles. For the time being, you need to understand that liberty and equality or equity are opposite principles in capitalism or negative liberal. In positive liberal means they can go hand in hand. Fine. Just Negative liberal will be against, yeah, equity. Negative liberal means against equity, no doubt. They will never, hold the principle like equality shall exist only among equals. They are against state intervention. See, contemporary means some years back. The I told about Robert Nozick. He says that taxation is a form of progressive taxation is a form of bond labor. See, at times when we see some legislations in India, because of which some foreign investors or even Indian companies or even some employees, technocrats, management personalities, वो शायद इंडिया में रुकना नहीं चाहते हैं. They need to work elsewhere. Individualistic idea. When we say ease of doing business, everything, ना तो है कि it's about liberty. Fine. So that's fine. Equity, ensure others' liberty. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Rights derived from law. Rights derived from law. Ah, okay. I will say that further. Yeah, anarchy is a step beyond negative liberal. Nothing, nothing. No agency known as state. Right? Mostly it should be correct. मैं तो that example मैं तो आज ही बोला है first time कि दो गाड़ी opposite side से जब आ रही है, no traffic signal, no traffic police, but still, people act rationally in their rational self-interest. They will see that he how much distance I have to, go reverse. In case that is a very, let's say, very senior is having difficulty, the other person who can go means he may go a step ahead. Will take a chalo मैं reverse ले लेता हूँ so that both of us can go. That is actually moral anarchy. There is no law, but the people, they brought in the order. They replaced it with that. Okay, we will see that idea, but it overestimates the human character actually. Any kind of political ideology or discussion in ethics, in fact, what I have felt is, they narrow down to whether human being is good or bad. What human is actually. Okay, so no night watchman in anarchy. So that's the reason why they say necessary evil. Yes, it's evil, but it's necessary. Yeah, correct understanding. Yes. Okay, right? Till now, no problem, no? Basic idea. You remember the term justice, basically. Some principle, distributive justice. We will see other one in crime and punishment. But underlying principle is same only. Give the due based on some principle. If somebody is given, even in the judicial system, somebody is given punishment. Let's say, rigorous punishment for 7 years, 10 years. At times the victim's family may feel, it's less. You should have given more. Usko zyada dene chahiye. Then only I am getting the due. But the person who is alleged to have committed the crime, वो बोलेगा कि 7 is too much. I haven't done anything. I have done small mistake. Only two. So come back. We need to think about crime and punishment. The same principle. Just okay. So let me ask you, suppose you are to, how will you place a job or what sort of job an individual should choose? मतलब पूरा आपको हैप्पी रहना है, you feel like you are contributing to the system, what job one should choose? Don't name the job. Personality. Yeah, that Positive liberal. See, both of them are forms of capitalism only, I would say. In that one, negative liberal is more towards, more believes in what you call as trickle down, as I told about Kuznets curve and all. Positive liberal means some intervention. See, mixed economy, I would say, since you raised this doubt, we'll come back to that question. Since you raised this doubt, see, in India, right from 1950, we make use of the word mixed economy one way or the other. Or we adopted socialist model that was different from USSR. Then there was the debate in 1950s means, which sort of economy we should adopt, whether it the kind in the US or in the USSR, socialism. And you might be aware, the term socialism was not there in the preamble, but socialism. 76 through the 42nd Amendment, it was brought in. 1991, we had, LPG reforms. Socialism, if you equate it with the one in USSR or in the China, totally different. That you will see when we reach Marxism, that is totally different. But if you are asking me, generally, agar bolna hai, to socialism, you are being asked that what is the socialism in the preamble that is being written? You would say that it's an evolving concept. Are we having free and fair elections? Yes, a provision for free and fair elections is there. India, US, it's there. दूसरा है कि can private and public sector coexist? Yeah, private and public sector they can coexist. There is no doubt. Disinvestment kind of thing in public sector, yes, it is going on. Foreign investment. Are we having something like this MNREGA, NREGA is there, Antyodaya, many schemes that you study for social justice. So socialism, but we are less socialistic in 2026. 2026 यार उम्र कितना जल्दी जा रहा है 2026 in comparison with 1940 1976 1991 ये तो है ना we are mixed economy we are socialist you cannot write what I would say the brand of socialism what is existing in India it is moving towards the direction of positive liberalism बस यही बोलने के लिए लिख नहीं सकते हो but it's an so ठीक है decontrolling the prices and all fine democratic socialism we will see okay come back we will deal the doubts later so personality right what sort why personality or you are trying to say that that suits our personality no? This sort of job we should involve into and it shouldn't seems like yeah competency demand self then only we are doing justice to ourselves no? In normal English when you say I am doing I have to do justice to myself only when I speak or act that makes me that brings me I will be in a good state of well-being let's say you might have heard about the idea of emotional intelligence right ethics में शायद देखा होगा ये the people with high emotional intelligence they shall be placed in management or maybe behavior studying behavioral economics तभी तो उनको भी अच्छा लगेगा that system also get benefited or totally a research oriented person no nonsense person बहुत emotional intelligent नहीं है if you are putting him into a job in which there is lot of public interaction maybe he will also feel bad यही होता है ना very small society if you consider Plato in the ancient times, in the ancient Greek society, definitely rooted in his metaphysical thoughts. Plato was a visionary metaphysicist, speculative, recollection theory, idealism. He was of opinion that human soul, I would say that it is totally speculative. Even though when we read topics like attitude in the normal guides for ethics, वो कभी लिखने का स्कोप नहीं मिलता है. They say like attitude has got cognitive, affective and behavioral components. वो लिखने का स्कोप नहीं है actually. Even though we will see everywhere. Anyhow, emotional reason that we can easily write. Effective. We saw in Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, and Karma Marga. Na? Human personality can be similar to that. Plato speculates, he says, human soul is constituted by these three: reason, emotion, and all. Appetite. Reason, emotion, appetite. So, very similar to some of the writings in Upanishads. He makes use of the example of horse. Horse is like the senses. The chariot is like the human body. We don't need that. But rooted in some element of metaphysical thoughts of soul, he says that broadly there are, three traits: wisdom or reason or courage or emotion. Okay, so simply we need to say one, if one involves in a profession which is consistent with the dominant trait, just as I told you, right? Maybe you will have equal EQ and IQ. That's a rarity. कभी ये होता है कि something, your emotional aspects may dominate the other. What is our dominant trait? But there will be some professions we will feel, or some people will feel totally bored. There will be at least one, not one, at least one. हमें पता नहीं होता है. There will be at least one profession in which you feel like you are, involving in something. You आप कभी बोर नहीं होते. You are contributing in it. Right? No need to panic. ये नहीं सोचना है कि after clearing, or in case if that job is not fitting into my dominant trait, मैं क्या करूँगा? वो होता है actually. Many a times profession is not our choice. इंटरव्यू में जब लोग बोलते हैं ना 12th में मैं क्यों लिया दिस सब्जेक्ट दैट सब्जेक्ट दिस करियर चॉइस, यार वो तो हो जाता है. दैट इज द रियल आंसर, बट यू कैनॉट से एनीवन. इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ डेस्टिनी. ओके, कम बैक. वो फिलोसफी का जरूरत नहीं. वी नीड दिस फिलोसफी. सो इफ यू आर involving in that sort of work profession that is consistent with your dominant trait, that's just actually for you. That will be just for the society as well, no? Who should rule? Who should be the ruler of a village or a country? There were nation states, then small nation states. So who should rule, right? For example, let's say 100 people are traveling in a ship. Before getting into the ship, the question is being asked, who shall drive it? Who should be the captain? What is the criteria to decide who is the captain? Suppose the ship is the society. What should be the criteria to choose, rational principle to choose who is going to be the captain? वही है ना, जस्टिस दिख रहा है ना यहाँ पे. What is the principle to, मतलब एक ही सीट है, only one position. One means it's like who is the king, monarch, or who should be the ruler, who should create the policies, right? Equivalent to that, who is the captain of the ship? People are there. Shall it be based on numbers? मतलब you are taking the vote. उसमें कि most likely, I am speaking about the then Greek society. Before Socrates, there were demagogues, sophists. It said that they were good in the art of rhetoric. Rhetoric means बहुत अच्छा, they used to speak, बहुत अच्छा भाषण देते थे, in which people got convinced. होता है ना, when we try to purchase something, if the shopkeeper, दुकानदार बहुत मीठा बात करते हैं, we forget about the quality of the thing that we are going to purchase. और ये होता है कि the seller, if he is capable of creating a kind of FOMO by saying that ये चीज कहीं और नहीं मिलेगी, this is the last shop you are going to get it. That is, and extending some arguments, demagogue. People, common public who may be under the sway, control of the emotion, dominated by emotion, they may be, voting for the person rather than looking into whether he can create, good public policies. Then the ship will sink. So wisdom, in fact, the wisdom shall be the trait of, so that we will see again, means this is actually one among the critic of democracy extended by the then Greek society. Yeah, उस समय का you cannot qualify the democracy that exists in the then Greece, Athens, nation states. Because many people, there was slavery coexisting with the democracy. Historically, if you see, slavery coexisting with the democracy. Fine. So, according to Plato, it's like the ruler. Some traits here saying wisdom. Wisdom shall be the trait. Wisdom means, I would say it's the holistic wisdom. Shall be dominated by reason. It shall not be under the sway of emotions. You see the context, na? When people are ready to, when people are getting convinced by, people are, making speeches to appeal to the emotions of the normal public in comparison with the constructive reason, को लगेगा ना, that will be visible in your epistemology as well, na? And the one who spoke against this, his teacher Socrates was executed, उसके सामने दिखा है ना. So for 12 years Plato was out of station क्योंकि after things settled down started preaching. So anyhow, wisdom. Fine. And the ones who guard, who should be a soldier, who can be kept as a soldier, who epitomizes, who can guard the people. He says that it courage, those who can fight, rigor, and trader. Trader means is a appetite. Appetite means ये होता है कि they have a tendency, just like the artha and kama in Indian systems, the purusharthas. मतलब उसको कि और just like the rajoguna, whatever you say, you need to earn something, you need to earn more and more. Nothing wrong. So they divide, actually. They divided simply to say, and I am saying the idea of justice, yeah, you need to write only few sentences, understand only few sentences. Simply, it's like justice means acting according to one's own dominant right. Ruler means he shall be wise. Soldier shall have courage. The entrepreneur shall have the appetite. Thus, rooted in is theory of soul. I won't say it is purely metaphysical, something psychological as well. Even modern days, we divide it into cognitive, affective, and something else, the behavioral. And we had Jnana Marga, Karma Marga, Bhakti Marga, and some theory of gunas. People observed and created. We have no issue with that. If a society is like that, there will be justice in it. Since you asked about the Varna system, ancient Indian Varna system, there are close parallels actually when we speak about the Swadharma Palana. Means it's like doing one's own duty means if we are involving in that kind of duty, job, that is not consistent with our dominant trait, we won't be satisfied. Practically, even in today's work culture, you see, work culture can't be that actually. People, when they get into that kind of job, one reason, which is not consistent with their area of interest. We seldom do think, "Eh, होता है कि you are given some kind of duty, the senior will be feeling like, he's arrogant, he's lazy. And this person will be simply working by waiting for the 30th of a month. Nothing wrong, see, need money to survive. That's a definite thing. But that 29 days is waste actually. यही होता है ना that lived experience is a waste. You are not contributing anything, adding no new skill. This is what happens. Not in Platonian terms. We feel like human beings can learn a lot of things. खाली एक नहीं, पांच छह प्रोफेशन ऐसे होगा जिसमें अपना पर्सनालिटी फिट बैठता है. There are many choices, but there will be hundreds of jobs वहां पे fit नहीं होता है. So anyhow, there means very small society. Job has been divided. Since you raised Varna, means intermixing of Varna in job means if you have to work on something, you are involving in some other job. We'll say that will disrupt the harmony. This is Plato. Plato speaks of specialization. Even present day in bureaucracy means specialization in what we are doing. तो चाहिए functional specialization for smooth functioning of a bureaucracy. So specialization will come only when we are interested in it. In fact, Plato is meaning that only. That society will be just. And he believes in a democracy. He believed a democracy is not just actually. There he felt, as I told, democracy is rooted in numbers. Democracy is based on appealing to the emotion. Reason shall prevail. Fine. And reason shall prevail means he, in one among the quotes, Egbar, I didn't read in the book standard okay, कि while setting question for the main ethics paper, उनका एक quote लिया था 3-4 years back. It's somewhat, it goes on like, Plato says a good ruler, he won't be surrounded by, he will be surrounded by people who may criticize him rather than the sycophants. Sycophants means जो चमचास होते हैं ना, that is sycophants. Those who do buttering, flattering all the time. Oh yeah, no, normally the kings when they fail, they love to take an objective opinion of what the subjects feel about them. Right? So that quotation still matters. Wisdom means the king will be very composed. He is not under the sway of emotions. Philosopher king, ruler. You should search for those kind of people who are philosopher kings. ठीक है ना? प्लेटो विल से मैं आपको क्लू देता हूँ. मैं किसी का नाम नहीं बोलूंगा. प्लेटो विल से 3-4 criteria. He was a student of Plato. Sorry, he was a student of Aristotle. And he propounded something like the theory of ideas. पता नहीं, assertion reason में होता है ना, two choices are enough, three choices are enough. So he suggested, right, philosopher king. And even in Indian philosophy thoughts, there used to be the idea of Raja Rishi, Raja plus Rishi, philosopher king. Means they can control. See, in fact, a good ruler should be like that. Captain, ruler should be able to know, shall be able to know about every aspect of the society. होता है ना, IQ plus EQ दोनों चाहिए. That's wisdom actually in practical terms. This is what he's saying. But he criticizes democracy. अभी लग रहा है ना, from Platonian perspective, democracy can be criticized. Even Aristotle was also criticized. Aristotle was of opinion that, the any form of government, monarchy can culminate in, kind of autocracy, totalitarian rule. He makes use of a word aristocracy. Aristocracy means rule by the wise. Wise. Few people. Even in the age of Mahajanapadas, na, there were aristocracies. 16 Mahajanapadas were there in the history. Few of them were what you call as rule by few. Rule by few can culminate in oligarchy. Oligarchy नाम सुना है? Oligarchy means iron cage of oligarchy. मतलब बाहर से कोई अंदर नहीं आ सकते हैं. Few people are ruling. Just like monarchy only. Here a group. Democracy can culminate in mobocracy. Mob deciding the justice. Group deciding the justice. Fine. So this is the basic idea. इतना ठीक है actually. Procedure means, so we can draw parallels. Think about the parallels with Varna system actually. So all the criticisms against Varna can be applicable to this as well. What is the criteria for dividing it into three? Who told? Who is to decide what is the dominant right and all? When we say the nature versus nurture debate, na ki nurture किया जा सकता है. You can train people for different jobs that we are seeing. And also there is a contemporary writer, Karl Popper. Karl Popper says that, and the ancient Platonian society, the then Greek society, they are totally against the idea of open society, free society, idea of liberty. Somebody will fix your position. This is what practically happens. And monarchy, how can you find that kind of person for as a monarch? Mm. Okay, Nick. Rule with reason. Yeah, principle of welfare state without limiting individual freedom. Good. See, that is the, one among the verdicts of the court. You will be aware of it. Uh, the principle of harmonious construction between part 3 and part 4, individual versus society का welfare का debate जब आता है, there is a kind of, synthesis, proper synthesis between these two. Remember, no? देखो, this what I was saying, वो तो polity में पढ़ा होगा. Underlying you can visualize through this lens as well. Fine. Complete. Yeah, similar. Good that parallel you saw with Varna. Soul with reason, wisdom, flux, strength. Yeah, that's fine. Strength. But courage, na? Courage means fighters. Right? They are ready to guard the country. मतलब एक कि they are not guided by these two class, the fighting class and the ruling class. They are not having appetite. जिसका appetite होता है, if you are making them the rulers, there is a tendency, आजकल जो बोलता है ना, crony capitalism, corruption, chance बनता है. फिलोसफी स्टूडेंट वो बन सकता है यार। पूरा पढ़ो उसके बाद बनोगे, ठीक है, अभी बाकी है ना पढ़ना। 10-15 बार रिवाइज करो, किंग बन जाओगे। हम्म। हाँ वो भी है। इवन प्लाटो हिमसेल्फ सेज दैट टू मच विजडम ना, idea of good, when somebody is contemplating the idea of good, or somebody has got nirvana, brahmajnana, or we will feel like, then why should I fight, why should I rule? That's true, but after that maybe it's like, when people are in pursuit of that kind of wisdom na, then life may be become a leela. Philosopher king or a rajarshi, लीला है उसके लिए। वो भी तो अच्छा है ना। लीला मीन्स आई गेव एन एग्जाम्पल ना earlier, आफ्टर सक्सी, आफ्टर क्लियर, जिस दिन आपका नाम लिस्ट में दिख गया, एटलीस्ट फॉर 2-3 days, whatever behavior we are having, a kind of self actualization will be there। मैंने फील नहीं किया है, लेकिन I can imagine that will be the, after this many days of hard work, ऐसे ही लगेगा। लीला, too much wisdom means that's a question actually, like when one gets liberated they may become indifferent to the world, then why should they strive for liberation? Not here, वो टाइम खत्म हो गया in religion। Okay, let's think। Hmm, that's true। So as a system, we will see in forms of government, as a system, the critics of whatever Plato told, as a system, monarchy can culminate in autocracy as a system, It totally depends upon the traits or the character of the person. Democracy as a system is not dependent upon that. There will be mechanisms for checks and balances. No? It has its own shortcomings, but it has mechanisms for checks and balances. I am not going into that because we have another topic. Right? It may seem like a closed system, closed society. Will you justify utilitarianism? This much is okay, no? अभी तक हमने जो discuss किया, no doubts. Utilitarianism means it's Benthamian principle while creating public policy. Greatest happiness principle, ensuring the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Overlaps with ethics, this idea. Is it justified? Say there are justifications, practical justification. We cannot satisfy each and every person. In the modern terms, in the present day world, will you justify what Plato told? We may justify its extended version, extrapolated version. One shall involve in that kind of profession that is consistent with one's dominant trait. But his critique of democracy or his metaphysical grounds of creating a theory of justice, and when you divide, the job into certain numbers, वो सब तो they lack kind of application. But उसको अगर extrapolate करोगे, just like we did now, only an extrapolated version work. थोड़ा through broader view, if I feel like discovering or inventing the relevance of Platonian theory of justice means you will get points, no problem. But why should we force? Democracy is the well accepted system now, or it's believed to be better than most other systems. It has got the capacity to account for the merit as well. Like when it comes to be the captain of the ship, इतना भी नहीं यार. The people who know to drive, there are mechanisms for it. Recruitment exams are there. People are accountable to the media. It's not like the one who does not even वो जो जिसको स्टार्ट करना भी नहीं आता है वो तो नहीं चलाएगा ना. That's it. There will be some mechanisms. Anyhow, utilitarianism, maximum happiness principle. Okay, that's a practical thing. No? We cannot satisfy. What will be the justification? If you go on satisfying, let's say out of 100, 99 people are satisfied with something. One person means, there will be people who are not ready to accept the policies. Numbers से चलता है ना, even democracy means. Okay, keep it aside. There may be some shortcomings. But let's say 99 people are happy. One person is treated as a slave by that 99. Slave. Will you justify? दो केस हो सकती है. एक तो है कि 60% people are happy. 40 means they are not happy. You feel like that is because of their own, convictions. Their convictions that the 60% will dominate this 40. That's only their conviction. That's not proven. So utilitarianism, you will say, वो तो discussion से ठीक कर सकते. We cannot satisfy each and everyone. But when you see 99 people very happy, maximum happy, one person is the slave, common slave. Will you treat that system as just? Will you say that चलो सबको हम खुश नहीं कर सकते हैं? or due to competition, some kind of competition, not even slave key, he is not having access to basic rights. वो भी तो होता है ना. 99 people are having basic rights. Out of this, 50% are having luxurious life. One person having nothing. As an outcome of, let's say, competition, market economy. Just hypothetical case. I'm saying no scope to write. We'll say na ki utilitarianism में some kind of shortcoming is there from it. I cannot say that it is completely just. If one of them is leading an indignified existence without even right to food or shelter, let it be the product of the competition. हमेशा last आता, always last. Neither free market economy, complete free market economy, nor utilitarianism be justified. Okay, clear what I told. मैंने कुछ बोला नहीं, just पूछा है. Fine. So another thing, let me ask you. You are about to join or somebody is about to join a job. A person is about to join a job in a private company. They are going to recruit, let's say, 10 people. Your friend is going to join a job. 10 people are also recruited alongside him in that company. Hypothetically, you don't know about your friend does not know about the other people who are joining. Uska character, uska abilities, whatsoever it may be, you don't know. He does not know. When he is about to sign the contract before joining the company, so the company, the recruiter, the HR personnel is telling like, आपको किस हिसाब से सैलरी चाहिए? How do you need the salary? On what grounds? Do you need it on the basis of your salary, performance, whatever it may be, promotions, based on the basis of performance, completely on the basis of performance? Or it's like you need something fixed every month. Gradually जो होता है ना, yearly जो, let's say initially X amount, next year 10%, irrespective of your performance. कैसे चाहिए आपको? It's a problem, right? Don't think that एक ही sentence में आपको you can say the answer. So like I will say that according to the merit only I need, according to my performance. So you see, you don't know. They are telling that complete performance means manlo the company in the next year, these 10 people are joining. They are doing something. And company got extra, let's say 100 units of money, 100 rupees. How to divide that? That will be divided in the form of salary only. That will be divided in the form of salary only. Purely merit means ये हो सकता है कि some person got 50 out of this, some person got 20 out of this, another one got 10. ये भी होता है कि किसी को ₹1 मिला बस, or even less than that. It can happen. Performance based. On the other side means ये होता है कि fixed 10 people, let's say company is getting say X 100. क्या होगा salary? Divided by 10. Not socialism kind of thing. Dividing actually means people joined at that rank, they contributed. Yes. Okay, no? Not justice and all. Your friend is asking you, what advice will you give? उससे पहले आपका सोच क्या होगा? Whether competition or not. Why you will think that? Why you will support competition or this performance based? there will be some rational self-interest. Na? Here means है कि you are going to a strange place. आपको पता मतलब you are about to join a job. Before signing the contract means he's asking you, the HR person is asking you, आपको कैसे चाहिए? What suggestion will you give? Basic papers extra ठीक है. But why? I need the criteria. Why? Why not competition? If you have the, the courage, hard work, you say that I am going to work hard, I am going to do something big. तो वो 100 में जो है, I will tell that 100 क्यों? Out of my hard work, I will create 200 for this company. And that 200 में से जो है, I will take 150 out of it. और मैं कोशिश ये रहेगा कि 200 out of 200 मुझे. See, it's not meant to deprive another person. That's the fighting spirit. I want to, I want to grow myself. I want to contribute to the that company. यही होगा ना. 100 क्यों सोचते हो आप? You are going to tell that 100 क्यों? I will create 200 and according to merit and output you determine the salary. बस पूरा flexible रख दो based on output only. But what will prevent a person from saying that? Bolo. What will prevent a person from saying that? Yeah, one will fail. Another thing here, uh, what one point you are not reaching? No, it is divided among whom? Hypothetically, it is divided among whom? These 10 people who are joining. Na? Suppose you know that those 9 people, बाकी लोग आपके साथ जो join कर रहे हैं. Suppose you know that they are more talented than, or they are more qualified than you, or they are more vibrant than you. Not all of them, at least few. Suppose you know that. Will you say that performance of others not known? Na? बाकी हमें पता नहीं है ना. You have the courage to convert 100 to 200. Like कैसे भी बंदा होगा. The joining means he convert that 100 into 1000. Fine. We don't know that. You presume that the person, your friend, you will think in the interest of your friend only. There is no doubt. But you won't think like other people should be deprived of what they are getting. ऐसे हम नहीं सोचते. Immediately means it's like it shall be in the rational self-interest of your friend. Yeah, this is the, you understand, this is the way, somebody is going to understand the human personality. We told na Mahatma Gandhi always on the positive. Humans have self-interest. It cannot be treated as selfish. Apna insecurity hota hai, apna self-actualization tendency. Okay. You go to join a job means we don't know about others. The joiner, the person who is the employee is in a state of ignorance. Na? He's in a state of, he's ignorant about others. Where does he stand? He does not know that he is about to sign. Fine, he is about to sign. Suppose he knows that he is more talented than others. क्या बोलेगा वो? Competition, performance based, right? If he knows that, see, always when we say na ki, who supports competition, he feels it fair. If somebody is having talent, unknowingly feels like, yeah, what is the problem with competition? There is no bad intention. Since he is having that ability, since he is having the no tendency to cheat others, betray others, very ethical person, talent है, merit है, why not competition? पूछ सकता है ना? But if we feel like, let's say, आपको पता है, not even first, second, third, fourth out of this 10, ये भी हो सकता है. फिर भी will think, okay, चलेगा यार, I can manage. Or the talent is very close. but suppose you get to know you may be the last always. अगर आपको पहले ही पता है बिफोर गोइंग फॉर ए गेम लास्ट ही आना है, फिर क्यों जाना है? राइट, दिस इज द वे ह्यूमंस थिंक. नो नीड फॉर इट. फाइन ना, कभी इवन जब व्हेन पीपल कम फॉर प्रिपरेशन, मतलब 10-15 दिन पढ़ा होगा एट टाइम्स, नॉट वुड हैव स्टडीड योर देयर जीएस ऑप्शनल, कुछ नहीं. जब तो एक इस बार थोड़ा लिख के देखते हैं, थोड़ा वी विल गेट एन एक्सपीरियंस. यार एक्सपीरियंस के लिए अटेम्प्ट क्यों बर्बाद करना है? दैट्स अनदर थिंग. एक्सपीरियंस के लिए हम बोलते हैं कि हम प्रिंट लेके देते हैं, तुम यहाँ से लिखो उसको. See, you know that before competition means we need to prepare ourselves. In all means we believe, I'm going to fight. वही होता है फिर. So what will be your advice? बोलो, your advice to student means your friend means he should not miss out. You feel your friend has talent, but you don't know about other people. You feel he is special. He should not miss out his talent or growth. He shouldn't feel stagnated by signing a kind of contract in which, based on the normal routine, जैसे गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स में होता है, this promotion and the salary means according to that जो procedure होते हैं, that may not incentivize him, that may not give him that due actually. Fine, right? You will justify that. But the other fear is that you think rationally, you haven't seen about others. बाकी 9 joinees जो है, for you your friend is special, but other people means if they are very talented, ये होता है कि finally he is ending, ending up in 1 rupee. उसको लगेगा कि फिर क्यों काम क्यों करना है? Finally his situation will be like 99 people, or some people, 60 people, 40 people, they are very happy out of competition, but one person, फिर वो, then he has to quit, right? एंड उसके बाद क्या होगा? इफ यू थिंक फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ कंपनी, इवन यू डोंट नीड टू थिंक दैट, यू नीड टू थिंक अबाउट योर फ्रेंड ओनली. जब वो 9 है ना, दोस 9 आर देयर, उसमें वो 9th बाद में चला जाएगा. इट कैन हैपन. सो एज यू आर सेइंग, विल से लाइक, आई विल जस्टिफाई competition. Flexible pay shall be there according to performance, but ensure that nobody is completely missed out, because they are also going to be part of the company, क्योंकि काम तो करेगा. The situation is like merit or competition. If 9 people are happy, one feels like I am having not at all. I don't feel like belonging to this company. I am nothing. Right? That will be what sort of, you will be telling like, this shall be the way in which salary shall be given. Think about this. Hmm. It can ruin the society. Policy, policing policy over welfare. Yeah. That is actually, populism. A rural aspiration. I won't comment on that example. Yeah. Performance, belief in merit. यही होता है. This is how human beings think. Someone can fail means, yeah, failure means we don't know about others, right? We are ignorant about others. Yeah, utilitarianism after ensuring deontological code. See, many a times this utilitarianism is a practical alternative of deontological. बस यही होता है. It's like the state wants to, secure the interest of all, but you cannot make everyone equally happy. But first, no, no, not populism, populism. We'll see them again. Leave mind games. लेकिन they are giving the choice ना. अगर वो पहले ही बता देगा, you suppose you are the company owner. Hmm. You are telling them that you are having this much talent. You at present you are standing in the eighth position, or you are standing in the second position. अगर आपको पहले ही पता है, then you will be signing accordingly. Eighth means already you will say 100 क्या, because you lose the incentive. Anyhow, I am not going to earn more. ज्यादा काम नहीं करेंगे बस. Utilitarianism is not populism actually. See, utilitarianism, in fact, never advocates to say that the minimal numbers, the minority, they are going to lead an indignified life. कभी नहीं सोचता है. Nothing like that. Populism is actually, maybe Plato would say, it's about making people happy, whether it will sustain or not for the time being, make people happy. This is the term which is being used. Utilitarianism, if you go by Bentham, is writing certain criteria for happiness. Means happiness means it shall be more stable. This happiness shall lead to more other trains of happiness. ये होता है ना कि happiness. Today happiness means let's say somebody is going for a party. आप पढ़ रहे हो, आपका रूममेट जो है गोइंग फॉर ए पार्टी. यू फील लाइक यार 7:30 ऑप्शनल क्लास, और यू फील लाइक पुलिस टेस्ट लिखना है. क्या होगा फाइनली? योर फ्रेंड गोइंग फॉर द पार्टी दैट टाइम आएगा, शाम को आके बोलेगा कि यार क्या मजा आया पार्टी में, तुम मिस कर गया सब कुछ. बट टुमारो मीन्स यू हैव मूड ए बिट अहेड, यू आर स्टडीइंग द सब्जेक्ट. उसको तो हैंगओवर है. ठीक है ना. दिस इंस्टेंट हैप्पीनेस मींस इट्स लीडिंग टू सम फिजिकल पेन. यू मींस यू इन ए स्टेट ऑफ, एंड यही होता है, हैप्पीनेस शैल लीड टू मोर पेन ऑफ हैप्पीनेस. ठीक है ना. द मोर यू फोकस ऑन स्टडीज, नेगेटिव थॉट्स भी चला जाएगा. इट विल लीड टू मोर न्यू ट्रेन्स ऑफ हैप्पीनेस. गुड, इट विल मोर अपॉर्चुनिटी. या अनसस्टेबल वेपन्स. ओके, अभी कंपनी का बात छोड़ देते हैं. I want to discuss about John Rawls' theory of justice. The background बन गया. Just think, you are about to be part of a thought experiment. You are about to be part of a society. People are going to be part of a society. They are going to create some, arrive at infallible principle or objective principles of justice through which laws or policies have to be created. Basic debate in the contemporary context is regarding merit versus need debate. कितना merit पे focus करोगे, कितना need पे? How much liberty, how much equity, right? Justice is about synthesizing that. We will see it in the background as been said. We will discuss in the next class. Okay.